individuals, couples, organization, schools, church, and others. Follow, share, subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Let's Chit Chat UK. Let's Chit Chat UK live stream. Hey, I'm Pastor Cecile Abba, a counsellor by profession from Let's Chit Chat UK. This is the right space to explore real-life issues affecting real people. We provide professional counseling to individuals, couples, organization, schools, church, and others. Follow, share, subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Let's Chit Chat UK.
Hello everyone, this is Let's Chit Chat. We are back in action. We've been offline for some time, but now we are back in full move and in full swing. Nice to have you all on board. This is Let's Chit Chat. I'm Pastor Cecile. Welcome to all our viewers, and I have two excellent, brilliant, amazing people tonight. What a wonderful platform to share real life issue. So if you'd like to introduce yourself, Richard.
You've got it right. Richard, reporting for duty. Looking forward to this evening. That is you, Cecile, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
You're looking kind of gangstery tonight. You're looking like a gangster's mole tonight. The topic will be interesting.
Definitely will be.
I wonder what your child would say.
Woo. Let's chit chat. Let's chit chat.
Go ahead.
Welcome, Minister B. This is Minister B. Minister B, introduce yourself.
Hello. I am glad to be on again with you. And I'm looking forward to whatever we have to discuss today.
Chit-chatting.
About children. We're going to chit-chat. Yes, we're not discussing, we're chit-chatting.
We are chit-chatting tonight. Let's chit-chat. Our topic tonight is, do parents listen to their children? That's a massive topic. Do we, as parents, do we listen to our children? Do we consider what they have to say? Do we consider what they want? Do we consider what they need? And do we probably take time to just listen to our children? That's our topic tonight. And I will pray that every parent or non-parent out there listening to us tonight, they will be able to contribute and let us know what they think about the topic tonight, or what ideas can help for other parents out there. So, Richard, do parents listen to their children?
I think so. I think so. Sometimes they don't. I think parents, good parents, that have valuable experience that they can share, a listening ear or listening ears, whereby they can listen, respect, and value input from their children, whilst giving them good, solid advice. But this is an interesting one, because I've got two children, and I can tell you, when it comes to matters involving IT and computers, their input, their advice, their guidance is very much valued and appreciated by myself. So there are areas where listening to a child and listening to their advice is invaluable. But sometimes, though headstrong, some children, many children, need to listen to a good, caring parent or parents. But we'll find out as we go along this evening. Alberta, what say you? May I call you Alberta?
Yeah, you can. Alberta is still my name. Minister B is still my name. So it's
absolutely.
Okay.
I love your hat, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I think sometimes, because of life issues, especially work, whatever we're thinking about, we miss hearing the children speaking. And by the time we hear them, it might be too late. Because if a child is going through something and you have a relationship with them, they open up. But as they approach an adult, and the adults put up a wall that I'm busy, I'm going to work, they stop. they go outside, try to speak to somebody else who will give them the wrong advice. And that's where the problem starts.
Good points. Good points.
That's very good. Let's assume for argument's sake, many parents, especially as African parents, we were not brought up to talk to our parents. Many of us, we did not really have that opportunity to talk to the parents, to confide in them, to go closer to them with issues. We always look for our closest friends or someone that we think is easy to talk to, because you have that fear that your parents will be disappointed in whatever you tell them, because they will so much want the best for you that they're not ready to listen to anything that is less than what you will tell them. So if you have been brought up in that environment where you were not, I'm not saying closer, you're closer to your parents, but you are not close enough to talk to them about life's issue. Therefore, as a parent, you tend to be the same way as well. Could that be a big limitation to where it's not because they really don't want to talk to their children, it's not because they cannot talk to their children, sometimes because of those difficult topics, they did not face them with their parents. So therefore, it becomes very difficult to face those difficult topics with your children. I know, for instance, when I was younger growing up, I was very close to my dad, very close to my mom, but at the same time, we never discussed life issue apart from go to school and learn. Go to school and learn. Don't go and look for boys. Don't bring a baby in the house if you're not married. Don't go and have an abortion. Those were the four, or the free topic. Go to school, learn to become a woman tomorrow. Don't go and look for a boyfriend. Don't go and bring any child if you're not married, and don't go and have any abortion. That was as good as I could have received from my parents. So
Could
therefore,
you have received anything better though? Could you receive anything better? That seems like pretty strong tenets.
Yeah, you know that you don't receive anything, but you receive better, like, oh, how are you? Small talk like that, but those are not the kind of talk that a child will open up to you, because you will ask your children, how are you? Have a good day? How was your day today? But it's not really getting to the nitty gritty to where you can sit down with them and say, okay, you have reached this age. Tell me the issues that you're facing in life. Tell me what's going on in your life. Those kind of issues, those kind of discussion. Some of us did not have them with our parents, where they will sit you down and say, okay, you look a bit funny. What's going on? How is school? Is anyone beating you up at school? Are you being bullied? Things like that were never discussed with our parents. They assume that everything is fine. So
we're going to fast forward.
Pardon?
What we're going to do is fast forward to 2021. Alberta, Cecile, how do you approach your children? Alberta, do you have children yourself? May I ask?
I do have a son who's soon to be 22 years old.
Okay.
And when it comes to a personal relationship with my son, I have always opened up to him. When it comes to a barrier, I didn't build a barrier, although he knew that I was mother. So there are certain things you don't do. But I sit him down and I speak to him about certain things. I'm a single parent. From the beginning, I made sure that there's no boundaries between him and his dad. There's nothing like, oh, because I'm not with your dad, I'm going to be rude to you. I'm going to be mean to you, which you see that in most parents. If they're no more together, the child becomes a problem, because especially when the child looks like the father. That's where the problem is. But when it comes, I can talk to you about where I've been. With my son, I opened up, I spoke to him. Things that he was dealing with, he speaks to me. Sometimes most of the times it's uncomfortable, because you don't want to speak to your son about certain issues. But as you speak, you bring like solutions. So that connection, that relationship has always been there. And I think most parents need it. But when you look at parents who work, they're overwhelmed with life issues. I call it life issues. So when a child is even trying to connect to you, oh, mom, I remember this so well growing up.
Go ahead.
I was trying to speak to my mother. This thing has never left me. And my mom is like, oh, leave me alone. I'm thinking. So I went into my space and I'm like, Lord, please teach me how to think. And today I reject that prayer. So that's what we parents do. We tend to push the kids away because of what we're going through. But at the same time, the kids look up to us. If we don't speak to them, we don't know what's going on. So what they do is they go out there, speak to anybody else who would give them an ear. It might not be the right advice that they needed at that time, but because somebody has opened up their ear to hear them, that's what they chase after.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So
it's important to be there.
It is important. You might work. You might go to work, you might come back home tired. But one thing is, we ask God for these kids. Nobody can take care of the kids than we can. So we need to make time, although we're tired. You just explain to the child, I am tired, but I'm listening to you. And listening to you is not just one way. You have to respond to let the child know that I'm listening to you. So next time when they have an issue, they know that, okay, mom is listening, dad is listening. So I need to go back to them and tell them this issue. Most kids don't open up because we build that barrier. As in, I'm the parent, I am tired. We're always saying to our kids, I am tired to listen to you. And that is...
Wouldn't you think that as a parent, sometimes because of many parents have a big high expectation of their children. So therefore, if the child is going to bring anything less than what they expect of them, the conversation becomes a bit limited, not open-minded.
Talking about
very one way, like you said, one-way conversation.
Talking about that, as Africans, our parents look at us as in, I want you to be a doctor, nurse. I want you to be like something big in life, somebody who's like really big in life. But at the same time, status in life. But we're all born differently. A child can be a carpenter. At the moment, we see kids with games. They might be a game designer and be like really big in this world that people will know them. Look at Elon Musk. Who knew? Look at all these people who didn't go to school, but we're not encouraging our kids not to seek education. But we need to focus on what is my child all about? What does he enjoy doing? Is he going to school doing a particular course because mom and dad wants it, or that's his passion, or that's his calling? We have to like calm down, come to the child's level, not that just calm down and listen to them, but also know when to advise them and lead them. Because if we leave them to the teachers, they'll just do anything.
Yeah.
Because they want grades, oh, our school is doing well, they'll push them anywhere. I remember when my son was going to primary school, they said he had to do Excel. And I'm thinking, okay, where else is Excel qualification presented? They're like, nowhere apart from the UK. I'm like, no, my son is going to university. And to God be the glory, he's in university. But if I left it to the school, they would have let him do something that he couldn't use anywhere. And after his education, he'll be on the street. We need to, as the topic said, we need to pay attention to our kids. What makes them Cecile? What makes them Richard? Everybody has something unique. And build on that thing than what we want for our kids. What we couldn't become, we see it in our kids. And we're trying to impose it on our kids to do it, which is wrong.
Yeah. I was just going to ask that, is it not the big problem that because sometimes we fail in life as parents and we want our kids to become what we were not able to become or to be who we were not able or who we are not able to be. So that way we are not open-minded anymore because there's one line that we want to follow. There's one line that we want them to be. There's a place where we see them. And that place, as long as it's not that place, we don't see them anywhere else. So it becomes difficult to have those conversations. Richard.
I'd say
Richard.
Oh,
I think we lost Richard. Let's
no.
he will join again. That's fine. Richard will
Yes.
join again. We just lost Richard. That's
Talking
fine. Carry
about
on.
what we missed and we pose it on our kids. It's good to encourage our kids, and to want better for them, because in life our kids has to be better than us. That shows that we've done a great job. But we have to know where to stop and check with the child. Study the child. In life, if whatever human being you're around, you need to learn them and see what they're about, and that's our kids.
Yeah, I was talking to I was talking to one lady yesterday, and she said she thanked God for her mom, because her mom never compared her to any other child of her age. So then she went on to be talking about her friend's mom, who's always comparing her to other children. I wish you can be like this one. I wish you could have turned out like that one. I wish you can be like that one. Wouldn't that also damage the child? Is it a way of parents expressing their wish to their their children? Is it a way of talking to their children or communicating with them? When you start wishing that, I wish you were like this child, I wish you were like that child. Is it because the parents also, I'm taking it to the background, because when you have a background where you did not so much talk to your parents, it kind of influence a lot more on how you raise your children. So we are looking at ways where parents can learn how to talk to their children. You said earlier a very relevant point about being busy, too busy to have enough time to talk to our children. But sometimes some children are actually very reluctant, also laid back and shy to talk to their parents. So when you have such a child who is really laid back and shy and limited to talk to you, how do you then go as a parent to crack in talking to that specific child? I have 3 children. The 3 children have different character, different behavior. So they're not the same at all. Each and every one of them is completely different to each other. That one has a different approach. The other one has different approach. Some of them are very reluctant to talk. Some of them are very open to talk. So how do you then manage the 3 people or the 4 people with 4 different characters, trying to make each and every one of them talk to you at the level where you can still communicate with them? Richard, sorry, we lost you there. What's your opinion on the topic, please? You're back. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes, seems to be some technical difficulties there. No, I think you're partly hitting nails on the head in terms of how to communicate and address your child. You having 3.
I think we're not hearing you, Richard.
Can you hear me, Cecile?
Now we can hear you. Looks like the internet is breaking, I think.
Oh. Can you hear me? I can see both the good selves.
Yeah. Carry on, speak. So
I'll continue talking. Everyone,
talk, please.
Everyone is different.
Yeah.
Everyone is different. Your child's communication needs, strengths is absolutely vital.
Yeah.
Once you've done that, listen, sometimes you've got to be a bit more boisterous with them. And it's about them acknowledging or being aware that you respect them, you value them, you care for them, and you respect their wishes, their desires, and that you are there for them through thick and thin. So whether the child is shy, they will see it, they will hear it, they will feel it, and that's all you can ask for. And invariably, that's half of the battle there. Because once the child knows that you care for them, that you're there for them, then they feel safe, they feel reassured, and they can also branch out. Because, of course, children start out as babies and then young boys and girls, and then become big boys and girls. And of course, we're rearing them to ultimately be confident and strong enough to make their own decision, to forge their own paths. And sometimes some of their choices may go against our desires. As you said, some parents may have wished that their lives and their careers, their choices may have been different, but that's not to be to the detriment of that child. So it's really important to encourage them and to see them grow and bloom and forge their own path, and we'll be so proud of them.
Yeah, that's very good, Richard. I'm glad you said it. As you're speaking on that line, I was just literally thinking about one thing. There are many people, like Minister B was saying earlier on, she raised her child literally on her own by herself. So she was able to have full control of the child. So that is one case. Now, the other case is when you are two parents raising your children as two parents, or your child as two parents together. Sometimes it's very difficult in a way that if you have one parent maybe very hard light or very talkative or very domineering, then you have another parent who is probably a bit quiet, or I don't know, lay back, not too much push. It could cause conflicts from time to time with the children, because one parent might try to dominate and take over, and the other one might completely disappear in the background. Then it's also difficult in terms of raising the children. I will say, for instance, with my ex-husband, we literally raised our children together until they were at a certain age. But because I'm naturally a very quiet person, I speak if I have to speak. But if I don't really have to speak, I will tend to go very quiet. I speak when the matter arises to speak, then I speak. Not that I don't speak, but I'm not really a kind of person. Now I'm speaking a lot, but I was very reserved, very quiet. Not that I'm not speaking, very reserved, very quiet. I will speak, but he, the other hand, is a very domineering, someone who has a very loud opinion and is always going to be speaking and is always going to be talking. So in a way, it's very difficult then to balance the raising of the children, because you tend to see one parent is tend to be talking much and invading almost everything. So the minute the two of you are no longer together, it becomes a very, very difficult, a hard task to raise the children, because one person has always been talking and kind of like dismissing the other person's opinions or ideas in a way. Because if you are the one who always talking and always having the final say, unless you carry on consistently to the end, it's very difficult. What do you think about that?
I picked up one thing that Richard said. He said, if you respect the kids, sometimes we don't give the children opportunity to talk, or we need to respect them that they're human beings. And the other thing that you mentioned as well, as in a two-parent home,
I'm not stopping you. In that case, the respect has always been there, always giving them the opinion to talk. But I'm talking in a way that, okay, when she said the children bring an issue, you all sit down, you discuss the issue, you know that, okay, it's like this, it's like that. Then one person tends to want their voice to just dominate everything. Either it's wrong or right. They have said it, and you look at it, you're thinking, this might not be quite correct. But because you don't want to go against the other parent, you end up agreeing. Now, the fact that both of you are no longer together, the children are used to only this person has been taking the decision. So therefore, the other voice is not completely understood at one point. Does that make sense?
I think the main thing here is communication. If the two can communicate, because it's not about the two of you anymore. If you say you're divorced or you're no more together, the people who are important are the children. So you have to come to common ground to understand that it's the children. It's not about what each individual wants. With a two-parent home as well, sometimes the kids are so smart that they can play on the parents. When they go to mommy and mommy says no, they go to daddy because they know that daddy will say yes. But that same time, that's when communication comes in. You're not doing things to please each other or go against each other, but you have to come to a decision that would help the children, if I'm making sense.
Yeah, you're making very, very quite sense naturally, originally, or on the normal note. That's how it should be. But when you get to the nitty gritty, it's sometimes a bit off that, not strictly that. Richard, you were saying something, Richard? Hi, Richard. I think we probably might have lost. We probably might have lost Richard again. Yeah, we probably might have lost it. Yeah, so I was saying we're just going to carry on until we get back Richard. I was saying that yes, on the normal notes, on the straightforward communication, that's how it should be. But on reality, real life issue makes it understand that sometimes it's very difficult to work it out that way. So it becomes to the stage where each parent, you're trying to tell them, okay, advice is from day one, open up to your child. Because if you want to open up to your child when they 12, 15, 16, 17, sometimes it's a bit too late then. Richard, welcome. Welcome back. Sometimes it's a bit too late then. So really from day one is when they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's when the foundation is built. That's when everyone has a say. That's when the voice are now resonating in the children's brain. But once you pass the 7, 8 years old and you go into towards 10, and that has not really been built, it's very difficult when you get to the 12 years old for you to start doing that work. Richard, welcome. Yeah, I think we.
Thank you. Yes, I was losing some.
Yes, Richard.
Yeah, I think he's gone again.
I think we're losing Richard tonight. Yes, so if you just joined, for anyone who's just joined, we are talking about parents, how parents should be able or make attempt or effort to listen to their children. A lot of us at generation, we never really have parents who, our parents were there consistently, day in, day out, 100%. They were always there consistent, but we never truly really have a relationship where you can openly go to your parent and say, and I remember even the time I was married and I was pregnant, I was still scared to tell my mom or my dad that I'm actually pregnant. This is me, have someone in my life and we are together. But because I haven't had the opportunity to discuss some topics with my parents, some topic with my mom, so it was still a very scary situation. How do I then still go to I said, okay, I am pregnant. Do you get me? It's hard because it's like there are some topic where you have not even crossed boundary with your parent. The topic is go to school, learn, become somebody, become a woman of honor. Don't do anything and everything. So even when you go into the direction of life, you have a good life. It's not like you are doing anything and everything. You have a dignified life, if I will say it. Still, you're still scared to go to your parents and actually talk to them. Not that they will kill you, not that they will not be happy for you. They will be very happy and very joyful, but to cross that boundary, still a bit hard.
Richard, we got you back, so let's hear from you.
I think.
Oh no.
So when we had lovely connection, you made mention of the fact that your African background, your African upbringing, and your relationship to your parents very much followed particularly stringent, hard core lines, limited lines.
Yeah.
I'm from a Jamaican background, Black British Jamaican background, and I must say there's a maybe a few differences. I think that my generation, me growing up, I could share with my parents and my aunties. I could feel confident enough to make decisions without directly going to them. I could ask indirect questions, but in terms of education or matters relationship, you could indirectly have conversations, even sometimes directly. Now, fast forward to today, and me as a parent, I find that my generation, and speaking for myself, I feel that my children can feel comfortable to approach me to talk about things. At 21, he doesn't want to talk to me directly about a matter. I'm sure that in direct conversations with his mother, that he knows where we stand. He knows that we respect how we brought him up. He knows what our values are. But we know that he is his own person, and in his own right, he's confident enough and respected enough to make decisions for himself that are hopefully in his interest and can make his mum and dad ultimately proud. So there seems to be a difference in terms of the communication lines as opposed to African parents. Would you agree?
I will, in a way, I will agree, because African parent, if you're not probably looking to get married or closer to marrying person, they would not be happy seeing you coming around with someone to just say, oh, this is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend. The question is like, are you getting married? Who is it? So it's like you're not freely able to actually live that kind of life. It's like, are you getting married? Who is he? We need to know his parent. We need to know where he's coming from. We need to know his background. We need to, so things like that are not open conversation. So it makes it a limitation while you're growing up, knowing that those kind of topic will be the hard topic to talk to your parent. So as a young girl, by the time you start getting to maybe 18, 17, 20, there's still very limitations where even if you see a young person who you seems to be attracted to, it's very difficult for you to go to your parent and say, oh, I like this young boy. You're thinking that, what you like, does he like you, or do you like them? Who likes who here? So it's hard, it's difficult. I don't know if that makes sense. It is difficult. And again, when you have your child, you have been brought up in that environment. So it's just a learning, like Ms. Alberta was saying. You then need to really make conscious effort to be talking to your child, very conscious effort to be breaking that barrier, to be breaking that limit, to be, so it's like you are really pushing yourself to go out of the extreme, to make sure that you reach that child, to make sure that you talk to them, to make sure that you open up to them. But then some children are also very close to themselves, where no matter what you do, they might not be able to come to you. That is where probably you also need to learn that you go to them with those hard conversations. And sometimes for parents, it's difficult. That's what we're saying. How can parents then talk to their children or learn to listen to their children? Listening is not just about what they're saying. Sometimes it's about what they're not actually saying. What they are not saying is quite a lot more than what they are saying. At a certain age, if you realize that as a parent, I think my son is getting to the age where he's going to be looking for women out there. Now, you go to that level and start talking to them about women. This is what will happen if you do this, if you do that, if you like one, if he doesn't like one. Teach them about life. If it's a young girl, a young lady, you know that they get into that stage. where you know that soon they will be looking at, or men will be looking at them. So now you have to be creating that conversation, not waiting for the child to create it. As a parent, you have to start that conversation. So I don't know what you think.
I think our foundation is so important. Whatever you teach a child from the beginning is so important. Open up from the beginning. Teaching a child from the age of 1, by the time they start crawling, because these kids are so smart. You teach them the right way, that they will not fall off when they go away. Because when a child goes to university or sometimes boarding house, they meet different characters and they pick up different attitudes. So it depends on the relationship from the foundation, from the beginning. And also things like finding time to sit together, maybe watch a movie, ask questions that would not relate to anything, general questions, and you hear their response, not what they're saying. As Pastor Cecile said, it's what they're not saying. Sometimes that's how you get to know your children. Another thing I tried with my son as well, because when he got to the age of 7, 9, there were things going on in school that he became very quiet. So even though we were in the same place, we were in the same living room, bedroom, I'll text him, like, what's going on?
Communicate.
That way, he was communicating
with children sometimes.
The face-to-face was not working.
Sometimes it's the indirect communication.
That's it. We just have to be intentional, reaching out to these kids. Because even for now, between 2020 and 2021, with this lockdown, the kids are so confused. They don't understand this world. So instead of you saying, oh, they've been screaming all day, the children has been stressing me all day, try to calm them down and speak to them. Let them get involved in the chores in the house. That way they're developing as well, and you're getting to know them.
Yeah.
When this lockdown started, I'm like, oh my gosh, many parents are yet to know their children. Because what they were doing is dropping them off to school and they would rush off to work. So there was no relationship there. But when they came home together, there's lockdown, nobody's going anywhere. It's you and me in one small space. They introduce themselves to each other. And they realize that, I don't like this attitude in my child. And the child also realized that my mom doesn't listen. But this is the time that we need to form that relationship. If it's a godly beginning, this is the time that we need to put that foundation right.
Cecile?
Yes, Richard.
Yeah, we have you back. Thank you. You're here.
Is anyone there?
Yeah.
You're back.
You're here. You're back. You are rather back.
You're back.
Welcome back.
My goodness me, I thought I was talking to myself for the last couple of minutes there. Have you done your conclusion yet?
No.
We were not seeing you. We are just getting closer today. So if you'd like to give us your opinion, we've been missing you quite a lot in and out.
My goodness. Yes. Well, I've done my conclusion. Well, I remember what I said. I was saying that I hope that viewers, parents, adults and children alike have benefited and take something from this particular podcast. I think it's really important for children to know that they're loved, valued,
yes,
and respected.
Yes.
We as parents, whether single parents or a mother and father, it's our responsibility to listen, give guidance and counseling, but we don't want to foister and push our opinions onto the child. We can only mold them. We've brought them so far by God's grace, and we give thanks for that. But ultimately, we hopefully can trust that our children can make the right decision, wise decisions, and I think that is the way forward. We can find various communication methods, the kind of child that with personality and character, But as long as they know that they're loved, valued, cared for, and we can only, and we're there to give guidance and advice, things can work out just fine, and we'll be able to see our children become adults. And I love what both of you were saying. We never stop learning. Children, adults alike, we never stop learning. And the day we stop learning, there's a problem. So once we are open to learning, I think that's terrific. Until next time, ladies, what's your conclusions?
Mr. B, what's your conclusion?
For me, I just say it's time to be intentional about connecting with our children. We just need to love, respect, and listen. If we don't have the answers, we give ourselves time and go back to them with the answers. But we need to love them and respect them. That's the two things we need to do as parents. And that's my final word. Love and respect.
Yeah. And mine is for tonight. Many parents are out there. They have given their all and their everything just for their children. Many parents don't have life because what they're doing is really to sacrifice for their children. Sometimes there's no smile on their faces because they're just working hard to make sure that those children are what they can look tomorrow and say, I didn't have a life, but at least I have children, or I've raised children. I didn't have it what I wanted, but I make sure that my children have a roof over my heads, over their heads. So some parents are really not living a joyful life at the moment because of their children. But it is very sad to see those children when they do grow up and they turn around and say that, oh, my parents didn't do more than enough, just because the parents did not talk to them. They will dismiss completely every hard work that their parents did just because they were not there to actually sit down with them, actually talk to them, and properly communicate with them. So as we are saying tonight, parents, take time out of your busy schedule, out of your busy activity, out of your hard work. Really set time aside to talk to those children, to hear them and to listen to them. You might be working very hard to put a roof over their heads, but what is really important to them is to make sure that you are listening to them. They've been listened to. They've been given 5 minutes of your day, 1 minute of your day, 1 hour of your day, just for that solid communication. So until then, Richard.
Richard has some.
Yes, please.
Any household, am I right? Any household that does not have laughter, a smile, you could be working 24/7. That smile, that laughter, that little glint in a parent's eye, the glint in a child's eye, my goodness me, it goes a long way. You don't forget that. You don't forget that. So let's not forget that smile. Mama, one love.
Yeah.
Gangsters, I love that hat. My goodness me, I don't know. I hope your children ain't scared of you, you know, Cecile. Alberta, that is a smooth looking hat. Your 22-year-old must be, my goodness me. I'm sure if you're his girlfriend, but that's another topic. Cecile.
Oh, he is.
Until next time.
Wonderful.
Until next time. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. To all parents out there, take some time out of your hard working day, out of your stress working day, out of your difficult situation. Just give them some time. Give your children some time. If they don't want to talk, remind them that you're always there to talk to them. Don't enforce your opinion on them, like Richard says. Don't try to make them live your life like Minister Bertha said. Just let them be themselves, but let them know that you're always available. You love them more than anything. That's the reason why you're suffering. Don't go and tell them that when they have left the house and thinking that you didn't love them. Tell them now that anything that you're doing it for them, but at the same time, you want them to come to you with any issue and that you're available. Until next time, we love you. We cherish you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Please subscribe. Please follow us and stay tuned until next
God bless.
Saturday. Blessings.
Thank you.
Let's Chit Chat UK live stream. Hey, I'm Pastor Cecile Abba, a counselor by profession from Let's Chit Chat UK. This is the right space to explore